Ready, set, inhale.
Cool. Thanks. So to start, why don't you give a 30-second little introduction about who you are? Who's Ryan?
Oh, that's a tough question.
In 30 seconds.
30-second intro?
Yeah.
So Ryan Kanoa Kim Wilcox is a human being that was born in Hawaii on Maui and lived a wonderful life there and decided, all right, it's time to grow and expand further, fall in love with the United States of America. There's a disconnect from being born in Hawaii to continental United States. So I started off 2 years ago with a van journey, and that was my way of, one, reducing, a little more minimalistic, as well as, like I said, falling in love with the United States of America. And yeah, he's evolved into a man who's now in love with the world, the universe, and a whole lot more.
Fantastic. In love with the world. Ready to spread some love. So given that you were in love with the world and you're exploring the United States, what initially brought you to Utah?
A wild experience. I was dating a woman at the time, and we were on this beautiful van journey together, and through it we discovered that we needed some space from each other, and magically that same day somebody hit me up to rent my van, and after having a 30-minute conversation with him, I decided, you live in Utah with a warehouse, and I'm trying to renovate my van / hang out in a warehouse, and I don't have a home in Los Angeles anymore. What do I do? It was the best thing for me. Yeah.
That all just aligned.
Yeah, there are no coincidences.
No, there are none. So you've been here for a couple months.
Yes.
And have had a few different experiences. So I'm curious, what have you loved about getting to know Utah, and like the people, the places, the things, like what do you love about Utah?
The only ever time I've been to Utah is to the airport of Salt Lake City, and as a child, and I had no idea when we drove through, LA, Vegas, and then up into Utah, and we come to Salt Lake City, and it's like, holy cow, this place is magnificent. This place is so beautiful. I'm also probably here at one of the, I don't want to say the best time of the year, but the greenest and sunniest time of the year. So I fell in love with that. It's in a valley, and I'm from the Valley Isle. So there are some connections that I feel, and there's some connections I feel with everywhere in the United States that kind of resonate with Hawaii. But being out in nature always fills my cup. Everybody who I've met has been just such a joy to be around and commune with. And yeah, just in general, the experiences I have had have opened me up to bigger ways of being. Yeah.
Bigger ways of being. So did you know when you moved here that you wanted to take this bike ride?
No. I've always loved biking. I bike all around. When I was younger, I would bike all around my town, my island, and reconnecting with that has been really special. There's a certain thing about the pace of which you move that really determines the pace of, well, the way that I've heard it before is the slower you move, the faster energy moves.
Wow.
The perspective from which you get to see the world is a lot grander. You get to spend a lot more time looking at things. And back to your question, actually, though, when I was leaving Los Angeles, or transitioning away from Los Angeles and deciding to come to Utah, I didn't have my van. I was renting it out. And so I thought, maybe I'll bike to Utah from LA. that's possible.
In early summer.
Yeah. And that didn't happen, and it kind of just it evolved from there. I found something that got my heart racing, and I didn't know what to do with it, but I kept moving in that direction, and slowly and surely all paths lead to the ocean.
Yeah. I like that. For yes, your context, not necessarily Rome.
Or wait,
all paths lead to the ocean.
All roads lead to the temple. Utah reference, boom.
Thank you for that. And yes,
you taught me that one.
Oh, did I? So the bike ride isn't just for fun. Wondering what called you to do this, and especially if you can, in that answer of what called you to do this, incorporate some of the men's work that you've been doing over the last couple of years. And I know that community is really special to you, and I would love to introduce that community to our community here in Utah.
Absolutely.
So what is it, and how did it play a role in you deciding to do this bike trip?
You said the bike ride's not just for fun, and I almost think that, like, not that I won't have fun, but none of it was actually for fun.
Exactly.
Life is for fun. The things that happen in it just so happen to be really fun. But as far as one, I really feel like, especially, in general, people deserve to move their bodies. Their bodies deserve to move the energy around in different ways. One, so personally, I don't get stuck in my head. I can embody the things and transmute different negative energies through somatically. It helps with breathing, and if your heart rate goes up, generally people focus more on their breathing when they're doing exercise, is what I'm trying to get at. Or you're focused on, you're thinking about the pedaling and go. Two, especially right now, in light of the world situation and a lot of people being kept inside in their homes, a man without a home, I decided, show up and move around the United States in ways to give people permission. Like, yeah, I could get outside today, sure. Even if it's just a walk through your neighborhood, that's amazing. See the sun, smell the flowers, breathe in some good fresh air, all of the things. Wave to your neighbor. You don't have to go and give him a hug.
I totally agree. One of the things that I observed early on when the pandemic started is how many people were getting outside versus before. We're running to and fro, and it did force us to take a look at our direct surroundings and get outside.
But you did talk about the men's movement, and that has been, I could speak about my journey with the men's community for a lifetime. It's literally been a lifetime, growing up through Boy Scouts and, having one sibling, an older brother, and from there, I have showed up in a lot of ways in my feminine rather than in my masculine. And being in the men's community has really allowed me to be expressive, but also pick a direction and move in that direction, in this case, east to west. And the plantedness, all of the things that some people consider masculine traits versus feminine traits. And I don't think that I really showed up very masculinely in that kind of a way. A lot of what I'm discovering now is that, or through reading the book, The Way of the Superior Man, women aspire for a love connection and men aspire for purpose. And when I say women and men, I mean like the masculine versus the feminine aspect of things.
Yeah.
And
we all have both inside us.
Exactly.
And so there's part of us that needs to be nurtured and nourished by relationships with other people. Mm-hmm. And then there's a part of us that needs an innate purpose that drives us forward in life.
Yeah.
Would you?
Yes.
Is that fair to consolidate?
That's very well articulated.
Okay.
Yeah. The men's movement space has been crucial for my growth, development, health, mentally, physically, and emotionally, honestly. Like I said, having the band of brothers to think of, if you ever watched the movie 300, how they all put up the shields, or even when they're standing with the shield, it covers part of them and part of their brother. So, one, it allows you to receive feedback from other men. Let's be personal here. It allows me to receive feedback from other men that I love and support as well. Accountability is huge. You know, I get on men's calls quite frequently, and in most of them, there's commitments to this. So one thing that I didn't share is a commitment that I've made. I've been a habitual cannabis smoker for over 8 years now, like daily dose kind of guy. And the commitment that I made 5 days ago was that I'm not consciously going to consume any marijuana products until my tires touch the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. And if I so happen to willfully, nobody drugged me, willfully consume cannabis, the whole thing's cut off. The whole journey's done. I'm dropping everything.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because that's the accountability factor.
Yeah.
You know, like if you allow yourself slack, or if I allow myself slack, I'm gonna slack.
Yeah. And that's not what this is about. This
No.
is about accessing your full potential.
Exactly. It's about stepping into my true power. And the men's movement has taught me that, has allowed me that. And through the Rising Man movement, this beautiful online community that I called out my warrior in, that I went on a vision quest on, I fasted in the mountain for 4 days and 4 nights, praying for a vision of a grander life for myself. And that was almost a year ago. In fact, my intention is to end October 31st, which is the last night of my vision quest exactly a year ago.
Wow.
And it's taken me a whole year to step into what it means to me to be a man. And I stepped through that initiatory rites of passage a year ago.
And I love that you say a whole year, because that's really not that long. I mean, and we've had conversations around time, and we can definitely address those. We'll have to do some Zoom calls and address some of these topics, because
Gladly.
I think you've touched on a lot of things that are topical, and one of them is time. And it's everybody processes life, and they process their past at a different rate.
Yeah.
And I firmly think those 4 days you spent progressed you even faster than you may have, and it's all perfect. There's no rushing it, there's no slowing it down. We are always just so busy rushing around, when in reality nothing can go any faster or slower than the divine timing that it just is.
Yeah.
So
in my opinion, I'm still in the mountains fasting. I'm also still a young child being cradled by my mother.
All of this.
I'm also that kid who was being bullied throughout adolescence. I am currently in all of those places. And when I can step back and look at it objectively and step into that moment, I get to heal not only myself now, but myself back then as well.
Yes.
And my ancestors that experienced that before me and before me and before me, all the way back to
7 generations.
Yes.
Is what I know.
It's what I've been taught
And
as
I'm
well.
so happy. Yeah, that's exactly, I'm tracking with you 100%. I'm really glad that you brought up that healing, because you do access it, and you also get that opportunity not only to recall those stories and memories, but to change how you look at them. And I'm sure you are well practiced in changing them into gratitude.
Yeah, somehow yes.
Okay. Oh, well, it feels that way.
Yeah, I've been very blessed to have the experiences that I've had in life. Not to place blame or shame or judgment on anything, but through having a father and a brother, naturally there are going to be father and brother wounds that I get to heal in myself. And the men's community has helped me with that. Honestly, I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't come into Los Angeles, meet with Man Tribe, learn how to haka and literally call the warrior out of myself, go on a vision quest in the Native American rights of way, and start to really articulate on what my purpose is. And I'm still not quite certain what that is. Much like how this bike journey evolved, I'm just going to put one step in front of the other. Sometimes there's a little hill in front of the peak that you can't see. So
beautiful.
Essentially, the support that I get from a band of brothers, a group of other men, is something that I feel I didn't really get a healthy dose of through my childhood, adolescence, and adulthood.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I think a lot of us find throughout different parts of our lives the things that call us forward, and things just start to show up in our life that are in support of our journey. So what is the actual plan and strategy for the bike trip? What's your route, and do you have any specific towns you'll be visiting?
So when I speak in my little promo video that I made, I talk about facing fears, and one of the fears that I have is like planning and structuring things. I'm a very flowy person, and for a long portion of my life, things were planned out for me. I didn't have to do things in that way. So at the moment, I'm still working on the details. My idea right now is to go the southern tier on the American Cycling Association. They have actual routes that you can take to go different way shapes and around the world. And the southern tier symbolically is also on the Lakota medicine wheel. South is your childhood, your adolescence, and the west is adulthood. So I'm quite symbolically traveling through that adolescent period into my adulthood, into the place in life where you step forward into your passion, your purpose, and then up into elderhood and that kind of medicine after that. So that's my intention as far as the route goes. There's a lot of people that have been hitting me up all across the internet in different ways. So I'd like to be in New Jersey. There's a beautiful men's community there, the Modern Renaissance Men, and some great friends of mine have been or are the founding fathers of that and getting that movement off of the ground for the men on the East Coast, as well as some friends that I've met through Man Tribe and Rise and all of these other men's communities that I've been in.
So you're kind of starting there.
I'm starting in Minnesota.
I know, you're not just doing east to west, you're doing like mid to east.
And I have some friends in Seattle I might want to see afterwards.
You might just keep going.
Who knows, yeah. And at that point I might have an electric motorcycle or something. But
sounds like you've got a pretty good guide.
Oh, yeah. Support, guidance, everything. Fairies, the whole magical world.
Yeah.
Hanging out with me, always backside, front, all of it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'm very blessed.
I just want to insert also the timing of it for you astrologically. And I think we've talked about this in the past. Like at 28, you're hitting your Saturn return. And so it's the perfect time cosmologically, astrologically
to step into this. And I think you'll find all of that support you just mentioned up, in, and all around you. Yes, always.
It's so great. Let's talk about Eve for a second. No.
Yes.
Eve is sponsoring some of your nutrition and nourishment while you'll be riding. Very important to upkeep this vessel that you've been gifted to occupy and move around this earth with. So I would love to hear your approach to your nutrition in general. How do you feel you're doing? How's it going? How is it you're going to be able to not just nourish you in the current way you do nourish your body, but also add in those different variables of the intense work you'll be doing?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily strict on my diet. However, I do recognize that food is fuel first and foremost. So I want to put the best things in so I can get the best out of this. And not many people know this, both of my parents are chiropractors as well as holistic practitioners. So my entire childhood, my entire life, besides some college days, I've been very healthful. So I have been blessed with like amazing nutrients my entire life, guidance, and like quite literally body mechanics. And I intend to continue that well into my 120s. So
yes.
Eve is going to be very helpful in that way. One, I've gotten the pleasure of hanging out with you, cooking food with you, eating meals that you've prepared, and it's always nourishing. I feel like, one, you know a lot about nutrients, a lot about nutrition, a lot about the Ayurvedic way of medicine as well. And those are things that I resonate with and that I'd like to have in me while I'm biking across the United States, because a lot of the blogs that I've seen, vlogs, YouTube, whatever it is, you just stop at a gas station, put whatever calories you can in you. Stop at a fast food place, put whatever calories you can in you. I've had one cheeseburger in the last like 2 years, and I don't really enjoy it. Ideally, I'd like to eat as cleanly and efficiently and effectively as possible. So the micronutrients, as well as getting an appropriate amount of calories and macronutrients in me, will fuel me for the best journey.
Yeah, definitely. And keep you going on your journey in like optimal health. So no setbacks, and with everything that you've got coming, it could also just elevate. And I mean, you're going to be pushing your body to the limits, I feel.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very excited to be a part of what gets nourishing in you.
Yes.
One last question about Eve. What is it? Oh, you kind of answered it, but maybe you can elaborate. What is it about Eve that made you decide that, like, yes, I would love your help, Candace, and to help you on this journey?
Well, one, divine guidance. We were brought together for some sort of a reason, and friendship is definitely one of that, and collaborative efforts on what we do in life. Like, to answer your question in a more concise way, I recognize that with your knowledge and company, I can receive what's best for me. At the same time, I can give back to a dear friend.
Awesome. Yeah. I would love for you to talk a little bit about your message and what are some of the messages you're hoping to deliver out into the world. What's your intention behind this ride?
My intention for myself is to face my fears, to step into a more masculine role for myself, to be consistent in my actions, and to enroll other people along my journey, to express myself. And my hope, my dream, my desire is that by human beings witnessing me on this journey through Instagram, through whatever methodology they so happen to witness me through simply watching me bike with all of this stuff with me across the United States while they're driving their car. One, there are a lot more sustainable ways to do things. There are a lot more minimalistic approaches to life. The freedom to get out and do what you desire. We all are the creators of our own reality. And I think personally that it's silly to stay inside because we've been told to without being properly educated. You know, there are possibilities and there are concerns among humanity and among the world, for that matter. And I believe that there are a lot bigger issues at hand here, a lot more mental health issues at hand here than there are physical ailments that are preventing us from living our best lives. You know, separation from nature is a really big one. You know, the idea that we go to nature and not that we are nature. A really great friend told me that if you live in the city and you really want to connect to nature, look at the nature of people. Like, how do people interact with one another? How do there's nature in everything. We are nature. And as far as I'm concerned, nature is my church. Nature is my God. Nature is life. Like,
we all have the same elements in us. You know, what is this is in me, and it's all connected. You know?
It's the stars. Like, we're stardust. Yes. We are the universe.
Yeah.
And a large message that I have is get out there and experience yourself. Whatever that looks like to you. Not everybody wants to do a bike ride across country. Yeah. Not everybody wants to do a bike ride in their neighborhood. But do things that fill your cup.
Yeah, definitely. I liked what you said, and you might not have this meaning, but it came to mind of getting inward out, getting outside. Like, you do have to go inward sometimes to connect with yourself, but if you can go outward too and express things you might not normally, that is really powerful in getting people to express their own unique footprint, their own unique voice, their own, you know, uniqueness of the world. We need that. Absolutely. We are in desperate need of each person's individuality. And so doing some inward work allows you to be more comfortable shining your exact light. Yeah.
Your uniqueness. You are a star.
So this has taken a lot of preparation and planning, somewhat. I mean, it feels like maybe 3 weeks ago or something, it started to get more and more real for you.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks ago, you posted your beautiful announcement, and you might have mentioned it then, but I would love to hear how people can support you. How can, you know, anybody listening that feels so compelled, how can they support you in this journey?
The first thing that I think of is support me through being yourself, whatever that looks like for you. You living your best life allows me to live my best life. It's the permission that I see in the mirrors of every human being around me that allow me to be as strange and as goofy as I want to be. You know, I have set up a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe right now is set at $5,555. There is a chart on there of all of the, well, not all of, but a lot of the gear and equipment that I require for the journey, and the prices from Amazon laid out. However, as much as I would love to be supported in that way, get money and buy new gear, I truly believe that the sharing economy is very real. So if you have gear that you don't use, like, I will gladly use it, and then I will donate it to somebody else when I'm done with it. You know, things that the economy that we live in could utilize it. The way the culture is at the moment, where we're just consumeristic and throw things away once we're done with it. Like, there's so many things in the landfill that could be quite useful, and maybe not for what it was made for originally, but there's reduce, reuse, recycle for sure. conversations with me. Another thing that I'm in the works of doing is setting up my Calendly for a certain window of the day where I can just hop on a phone call with somebody and have an hour-long chat with them about whatever they want, about whatever serves them best. I'm here to listen. I'm here to support, and I'm a very curious person, so the more the merrier, honestly.
Yeah.
And old used gear that you may have, a shower,
yeah,
a yard to sleep in. I mean, beds are really great as well. I understand that with quarantines and with the amount that I'm traveling, that many people might not be receptible to that. I'm more than happy to stay in a yard.
Yeah.
It beats a freeway underpass,
Yeah.
But for the most part, as we stated before, I'm very well guided and supported, and whatever unfolds. I intend to. So with the $5,555, that's a tongue twister.
55.
With the $5,555, I would love to donate that money, right?
Cool.
So if I hit that goal, fantastic. If I can surpass that, fantastic. And then I'm not looking to buy things on Amazon. I'm looking at OfferUp. I'm looking at classifieds, Craigslist. I'm constantly looking in all of these little places, pockets, Facebook Marketplace, for gear that's used, that's a little bit cheaper and could still serve me. And with that, I'm still in the works of figuring out in my mind, like, what do I want to donate money to? But whatever excess that I have, that's going to somebody else. They could use it a heck of a lot more than me.
Fantastic. Just fantastic all around. Like, the whole mission, the whole thing that's driving you forward. I know that you are going to do spectacular work. I too feel that you are called to this work, and I just am so thankful for the opportunity to hold space for you and with you, and support you on this journey in any way I can. And yeah, I just look forward to feeling all of the lives that you're going to bless by traveling through this whole nation.
It does give me a lot of perspective on the experiences that other people are going through, and I sympathize with a lot of the things that happen. I don't empathize with it because I've never felt those feelings.
Okay.
I haven't. My parents are still alive and very healthy, and I'm very happy for that.
Yeah.
And I am blessed to say that the life that I live has been, and will continue to be extremely gentle and graceful. Until I want to hit the bumps, then it's game on.
I mean, the bumps are coming.
That's
and
the thing.
There, no matter they urge you for deeper growth.
So here's the thing.
And you get to face them with grace and gratitude.
And this is where the bike journey comes into play, as well as the vision quest. If life operates in ups and downs, right? If this is the wave of life, and you're going to hit low points and high points no matter what, why not consciously choose your low points? I'm consciously choosing to do these hard things. Joe Rogan talks about this on his podcast a lot, like stress yourself out in healthy ways.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to manifest.
Conditions.
Yes.
In
unhealthy ways.
So you're controlling a certain level of it. I mean, so much is beyond our control, but that's very an intelligent way of approaching growth, because we're going to have it no matter what, because we are called. There's this urge inside all of us, and we all call it something different. But we want to grow. We want to be a better version of ourselves all the time. So taking at it full speed, and physical is just one of the best ways to push yourself.
Yeah.
And get it out of you.
Yeah.
I'm certain you're going to confront some emotional demons, if you will.
Oh, full on.
Yeah.
A lot of, and the thing that I'm learning too is, like, call it a shadow, call it an ego, call it a devil, whatever you want. Like, I'm not here to kill it. I'm here to make friends with it. There's the adage of the two wolves, and which one do you feed? And my thing is like, well, feed them both. love them both.
They're all worth
You know, like some things are more tumultuous than others. Love those experiences.
Yeah.
Otherwise, all the high times, like, are just normal times. You know,
You've got experience.
how do we know one without the other?
Yeah.
It all is
non-dual. Yes.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff.
This is a beautiful conversation.
You're bringing forth good work. I keep saying that, and there's just this like.
Well, I'll stop you there because
work.
I don't really believe that I'm bringing it forth. I'm simply following my intuition, my guidance, whatever you want to call it, my inner compass. And all of these, like I said, with the time thing, like if the past and the present are linked, then the future and the present are linked. So I'm simply following my script. I don't know what that looks like. I read it word for word. Or one word at a time.
Or you're pedaling and
Yeah.
you see that bit of road.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Oh, it's already been such a magical journey. Just in the preparation, I've faced off with so much of myself that I didn't even know existed. I've stepped up in much larger ways for myself and my community simply by remembering to express myself in the ways that feel best for me.
Yeah.
Authenticity, vulnerability.
All of the details of your ride I will be posting up, for sure, and definitely following you along the way. Would love some check-ins with how things are going, with your nutrition,
yes,
with your body in general, if
yes,
you're so kind to share.
Absolutely.
And then what are your Instagram details and the GoFundMe, if you know?
I want to be like
point into my camera.
And then they magic bubbles.
They will. We'll figure that out. So if you want to follow along with Ryan on his journey, please follow him on Instagram. Links posted below.
So there at the moment, I've had this stigma towards internet and towards all of these things, you know, like the old man shaking his fist at the kids that are doing the techie things. Anyway, and then recently I've made 3 Instagrams. So I have RYWilcox8, and that's going to be mostly the nature, the sustainability, the minimalistic, the men's work, and the vulnerability from my inner self. I have Coxwill1, and Coxwill1 started off as a pipe dream of like, vote for Coxwill, and that's soon to develop. You know, maybe not 2020, but maybe. It's Coxwill.
If you if I may, the Coxwill, vote Coxwill, meaning like people are gonna vote for what you do next.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, it's all up for discussion.
It's a cool, it's a cool thing. I'm not setting anything in stone yet. But Coxwill1 is the logistical side of things. So I have Strava. I'm going to be posting the routes that I have previously done. I'm going to be posting, you know, what my nutrients are like logistical things. And then I also created a page called Kanoa Kim 3, my middle name. And Kanoa Kim 3 is the expressive side through my music, through what I feel like is medicine, a way for me to overcome the fear of singing in public, as well as, you know, my way to create. It's my creation. Yeah, this is my creative expression, and I'm really excited to create a whole slew of music and also play a lot of music that's already been created through a lot of other beautiful artists.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, and the GoFundMe is set up on my RYWilcox8 Instagram.
The link will be
I mean, the link is like URL.org.
I know.
It's something.
There will be a GoFundMe link. Everyone can find it. I'm so thankful for this conversation. I'm thankful for your journey.
Yeah, I'm extremely grateful for you, Candace. I'm very grateful for your children, for your home, for your conversations, awareness, for Eve and what it is and what it is to be, and how it will fuel me quite literally through this journey.
Nice. Well, I think we should put our hands. Gently bow. Namaste, Ryan.
Namaste.